Welcome back to another episode of Not Censored, and today we're going to be having like a sit-down conversation almost. I've got my chai here, as you can see from the title. A very fitting flask for the topic that we have today. But yeah, I just wanted to go over another photography episode, basically speaking about what the do's and don'ts are, in my opinion, on what I've learnt across almost like 6-7 years of doing photography now. Yeah, still not up to the professional standard yet, but one day aspiring to get there. But yeah, let's have a sip of this first. It's really warm as well, and the weather is freezing today. By the way, it's like -2. So yeah, a bit of ASMR for you guys. Anyway, yeah, no, first one, editing. Right, when it comes to editing, we really want to keep it in the early days. I'd say try and get the shot as close as possible to what you had envisioned, and then in the editing stage just touch up on the stuff. Don't completely change the image, because we're not trying to graphics design it unless that's what you're trying to do, but don't over edit it, especially the saturation, the hues, everything. Try to keep it to a minimal, and especially what you're trying to portray. Like if it's a storytelling type of vibe, then you need to be clear on what tones and stuff you want to bring into the photo before you start editing. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I'd say definitely simple edits to start off, because basic correction does a lot. It does a lot more than you think it would. And I think it's more rewarding because you know you haven't altered it too much from its natural form. Yeah, damn, that chai is good. Let me know in the comments if you like chai. A good editing technique, if you really want to reach out into different styles and somewhat try bring a different sort of storytelling aspect into your photos, is stripping away the color. And what I mean by that is black and white, like desaturation on the image is a lot more powerful, you know. It's a lot, especially depending on what you're trying to portray. If you do like even street photography, stripping away the color gives the viewer way less to focus on, but then they focus more on the details that you actually captured. Because when you take street photography, you capture the details that you want to, and you see it through how you would see it. But when the colour comes into play, especially in street photography, if you're in a really bright, vibrant place, it's gonna not clash, but it will distract the viewer. They'll be like, oh yeah, that's the main focal point, but I'm gonna look at this. So if you want them to hold their attention, black and white is such a beautiful way to go, and black and white is honestly a timeless thing. And also, let's leave cameras autofocus in 2023, please. Let's manual focus everything, especially with the lens I'm using right now, the nifty 50mm. Manual focus is way better than autofocus. Let's just keep that in mind. Manual focus is the way to go, because I feel like you can control the depth of field a lot more, and just play about with it, really. Right, let's get on to lenses. Lenses, okay, right. So this, as I just mentioned, is the nifty 50, and this is a prime lens. And you have two types of lenses, right? A prime lens and a zoom lens. Let me go get my zoom lens. Hang on 1 second, lad. So a prime lens is basically a fixed focal length, and you can't do what you'd normally do on a camera. You can't twist it and it come out. No, that's not what happens. But with the zoom lens, when you're starting off with like a kit lens or something, it will most definitely have like a zoom. So that's another thing to keep in mind when you start out photography, is you're gonna have to spend a lot, and it is worth it, because your kit lenses only get you so far, and they are amazing, don't get me wrong. But if you're starting off and you want to sort of be more adventurous, the 50mm is always the way to go. Not a plug, Canon. If you want to sponsor me, hit me up, please. I would love to have some of your products for free. But yeah, no. So leading on from that, it's mainly just try and be a bit more manual with everything, what I said on my previous video. But I would definitely recommend using this lens before you get a prime lens. So make sure you get really comfortable with using this, and then when you want to get adventurous, start using a prime lens. Because I mean, when you're starting off photography, you're a bit like antsy, everything like that, and you want to, I feel like you're prone to doing this. Like you actually want to, because you've seen it in so much that you actually want to do that zoom. So I'd definitely say start off with a zoom lens, then move on to a prime lens, because a prime lens you have to keep moving back and forth. It's a lot more trial and error than with a zoom lens. So yeah, those are some of the tips I have. Poor ones. And every photographer has had this pain. Make sure you always back up your SD cards, everyone. They're a lot more valuable than we think, and if you can, try have a backup as well at all times, because sometimes I've had times where I'll put the memory card in and it just won't work, and it'll show like memory card error or something like that. I'm like, I'm out shooting right now, please don't do this to me. I literally had this in the middle of shoots and it'll just say memory card error. So yeah, don't keep a spare one if you can, and try get a minimum of 16 GB. Any lower, you're gonna struggle, but it is doable. I've done that. I've done 8 GB. I've been there, done that. But yeah, try and make sure you get a good SD card and keep it safe. Don't lose the SD cards. They're really valuable. Right, let's talk about actually when you go out and shoot. When you go out and shoot, right, don't worry about overshooting firstly. Don't be like, oh, I only need to have, like I just said, don't worry about how much space you have. That's why I want you to have more space. Try and... Damn, that chai is good. But yeah, no, basically what I'm trying to say is, if you overshoot, it's fine. It's better to have more images than not have enough to say that you did the shoot, basically. So try and aim for a lot of photos more than than a little bit of photos that you can edit. And also, once you shot them, don't be like, oh, the first 100 I shot were horrible, I'm not even going to look at them. At the time, give it like a day or two, look back at them, and you'll be like, oh, I actually did quite well on that. Because when you see it on this tiny little screen, it's not the same as when you see it on a monitor or whatever you're editing on. So sometimes it might look crap on this, but then when you actually look at it, like zoomed in, everything, it might look dandy. So yeah, basically just make sure you look at all of don't neglect any of your photos. Give them some love, basically. Even with the photos that you overshot and you don't like, don't delete them. Keep them. Look back at them in future and be like, what did I do wrong in this shoot that I could, like, it could be a setting, for example, my f-stop was too high, my aperture, everything like that, my ISO was too high, it was too grainy, everything like that. Look back at that later on and assess it and be like, okay, I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to try and do this even better, because that's what you need to do. It's all about trial and error, and that's why all the photographers that you take inspiration from have definitely done trial and error. Nobody gets the first, if you do, yeah, props, but nobody gets the first shot how they want it to be in their head. Like, I've never had that. If somebody has, please put in the comments, because that's some talent there. And leading back to autofocus, the main problem with it is sometimes when you're editing, you look back at the photo, you're like, oh, this photo must have been sick. You look back at it and you're like, right, that's all blurry, I can't see a thing. Whereas in manual focus, you can tell that you made sure that it'll be all sharp and focused, and yeah, everything will be pretty much crisp. So I'd definitely say manual focus over autofocus any day. But anyway, that's it for this video, guys, and it's been a very short one, I know. But I hope this has been very informative, and I hope it was a nice little chill session with my chai, because it's very cold outside. And I hope everybody's had a good week so far, and Happy New Year. I haven't said it on any other videos yet, but Happy New Year, and I hope everybody has a blessed 2024. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you on the next one.